All right. So today we want to let everybody know we've got a new name.
Yep.
It is, you want to tell them?
It is Silver Lining Laughter.
Right. And so the reason we changed our name is we were trying to really get a name that resonated with both of us.
Right.
So I think you asked me, what do we do? What are we
Right.
about?
Yep.
And it took us a while to answer that question.
Well, we answered it pretty quickly, but the names we came up with weren't appropriate.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's about something that we've always done throughout the years. It's not been afraid to discuss the hard stuff,
Right.
the hard topics that, but always found a way to look at the positive side of
Yep.
them and try to find the laughter, even
Yep.
in the rain and the storms and the sad times.
Yep. And I
So,
think I think one of the things that you and I do very well is we've always looked at the silver lining in a bad situation. But more than that, we've always had laughter in our life. Like I could be in the worst mood possible. We would meet for dinner, we would go out at work or whatever. And no matter what happened, no matter where we were, we laughed more than anything. I
right.
mean, to the point where I would cry sometimes.
Oh, I've been in so much pain I can't even move,
Yeah.
or like I've had my jaw lock up from
Yep.
laughing. I've had a pinch in my side. I can't straighten up. So, Silver Lining Laughter is our new name. It's definitely a name that fits what we're all about.
Yep.
And
I remember when you were in the hospital and we
yeah, we love these. We we love to laugh
we
in the bad time. Remember
we
when you were
were
in the
when you were in the
hospital?
hospital and I spent the night with you. I gave your husband at the time, he went home and took care of the kids or something, and I spent the night with you on that little hospital cot bed chair thing. And even then, I think we was one of the hardest times I've ever laughed was when you said that you really wanted to see Kiss in concert.
And I have seen Kiss in concert since I was at the hospital. And I don't know why there was a Kiss special on at the
Now, as a
hospital. I was
kid,
on so much drugs that really should have been scary to me at the time, but I was like, looked up and I was like, I've always liked Kiss. And you're like, you should let that medication wear off and rethink that decision. But I really do like them.
I know they're great, and you were just adamant about going to see Kiss in concert that night.
Well, I didn't go that night, but I have
I
been
know.
since.
Yeah, you weren't
And
going anywhere that night.
I even painted a star on my eye.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
looked good. Yep.
did Diana's makeup, and we
Yep.
went to see Kiss.
Right. So yeah, that's what we're about now. And the old name we liked it, but we were getting a lot of slack for it. Just that why do you call that? And that's already been taken. So I
Yeah,
mean, you know, and
and
some people had a point. Some people were just annoying. But this, I think, silver lining laughter is a lot more about us and what we are and what we want to portray.
exactly. So if you don't like our name this time, just keep it to yourself.
That's
We
right.
don't really care, and we're not changing it again.
Yep.
And I think it had less to do with changing it because somebody didn't like it, and
Yes.
more to do with it was already taken. And so we've done a lot of research on this name.
Yes.
We know we're good. So if you don't like it, we'll
Oh
watch
well.
something else.
You know what? You know what? We're not tacos. We can't make everybody happy.
Exactly. Is it tacos that makes everybody happy?
Who doesn't like a good taco?
I do. And I never can decide if I want a hard shell or soft shell.
Always soft shell for me. Flour tortillas, hands down.
Really, but there's something about that crunch. Even though I know I'm going to bite this thing, it's going to crunch one good time and then it's just going to fall to pieces. I don't care. I just love that crunch. It's like the first sip of coffee good.
Oh, see, I don't like coffee. But if you take a crunchy taco and put a flour tortilla underneath it, then when you crunch into it and it breaks all over the place, then you just wrap it up in your flour tortilla and you have another taco.
See, that's the silver lining, folks. Hence
That's
the name
right.
of the show, guys. All right, so today we're going to talk about a topic that affects us all,
Okay, what is it?
and it really affects, I think, females more than male, but I'm sure you could argue both sides of this.
Okay.
So it is how particularly women or other adults, but at some point in your life, you have like an identity crisis,
Oh yeah.
and not from theft.
Right.
So,
Right.
and I think sometimes for women, it's because we're focusing on our careers, trying to make bosses and
Yeah.
clients and teams and all these people happy. Other times we're focusing on our spouses or our children and trying to make those people happy. And sometimes, if you're single, you really focus on. Yeah, I see you getting really serious here because I said that famous word, single. But you kind of, when you are in a dating relationship, it is so easy to tie your identity to that current
Yes.
relationship or
Yep.
to lose parts of yourself while you're in a
Yep.
relationship. So as a single person,
Okay.
and we've got lots and lots and lots of single listeners.
Which is funny because on the last episode, I wasn't single and I was way into this person I was dating. We have since broke up. It wasn't long after that episode, actually, because it ended up, I was so excited about that relationship and then it just turned out shit. So, oh, am I allowed to say that on
Yeah, it
podcast?
is. Yeah, as
Anyways,
long as you don't say it in the first so many seconds,
okay.
we won't get in trouble. But you can say
Okay.
shit and stuff now.
Okay. So I got out of that relationship. I learned from it a lot, and I think that's where I think maybe this is where you're getting
That's
the
exactly
topic
where
for
I was
this.
going.
Yeah, I think that's where you're getting the topic for this episode because I was super excited about that relationship, and we had gotten back together after trying before, and I thought it was going to go somewhere positive, and it failed miserably. I mean, miserably, and I was okay with it. Um, I I moved on. I wasn't really surprised, and I really that's when I dove into finding myself again, and not losing myself in a relationship. And as I have been seeing someone on a regular basis, I am still trying very hard to keep uh, keep a little bit arm's length, because I don't ever want to lose myself again. And I've been working really hard on doing what makes me happy when I want, how I want. Um, and I'm thriving, really. Actually, I'm not afraid to say that I went to a counseling. I found a great counselor, um, and she's really helped me with some codependency issues, and she's really helped me set some boundaries. And it's pretty amazing at how far. Even I was talking to her last week, and it's amazing how far I've come, because there were some things that I was working on probably 2 or 3 years ago. And then there's this sheet that I filled out on codependency, and she brought that up. And so she had me fill it out again based on the nows.
Oh wow.
And
Oh,
to,
oh,
yeah,
that's okay. This is like
so to
interesting. I didn't
see
know.
how what I thought of myself 3 years ago and how I see myself now is mind blowing. Absolutely, I couldn't believe it. I was so excited when we went over this stuff, because it was fascinating to see how I used to view myself and how I view myself now.
So 3 years time,
Yeah,
totally different outlook on yourself.
totally.
You've gone from last time we talked, you're in a relationship.
Yep,
Now you are entering another relationship,
yep,
but you're keeping your boundaries, you're
Yes.
keeping yourself, would you say you're keeping yourself as a top priority?
Yes, I am.
Because that's a shift that I really had to make, and I didn't make it till I was in my 50s. But
Mhm.
I think that I used to be kind of bottom priority,
Yep.
and I have to keep myself top priority, which can mean anything, right? Taking care of yourself,
Yep.
getting healthy, um, giving yourself breaks, not overworking,
Yep.
whatever it needs to be at the time, like
Not
taking
being
some
too hard
time
on
and
yourself. Yep. Setting boundaries and keeping them.
yes, and keeping them. Like
Yep.
you've got to keep the promises you make to yourself
Before you make them to anybody else. Agreed.
and more regularly than you keep the promises you make to other people. Because I would just I would tell myself, oh, I'm going to do this, this, and this, never do it. But I wouldn't dare break a promise to
Right.
somebody else.
Right. You know, someone, this person that I've been hanging out with a lot lately, and we're getting into this relationship. Um, she just said to me, because I was having a difficult time thinking about stuff, what I wanted to do, and she said, well, you know what they say, you have to put the mask on yourself before you help the person next to you. And that's true. It's absolutely true.
Yeah, that is true. That is definitely the motto that you have
Yeah.
to live by
Yeah.
because you really cannot take care of others if you're not taking care of yourself.
Absolutely.
So I can't wait to see kind of this new you and how you're going to keep those boundaries and how
Well,
you're
I
going
look the
to
same.
well you don't. Your hair's a little bit longer. Your
Yeah, it is
hair
longer.
is matching your cup. If people didn't notice that before, she's
I
accessorizing.
do.
She has her items behind her
It's a
lined
bar.
up extremely neatly. Everything's organized. That's not new. Like that.
That's not new.
No, is that OCD?
Yes, I've been OCD all my life.
So a little bit of OCD,
That's
but
nothing new.
yeah, I remember when we were work together, how you would have to clean that desk like so often, and it would be like if you have one on this side, you got to have one over here, just like the
I think that
alignment.
was one
And
of the pranks that you pulled on me. You know, we used to pull pranks on each other. I think that was one of the pranks. I think you went through and turned everything like all jacked up. My heart palpitates just thinking about it.
hmm So I'm going to ask this question, and it may take a little thought on your part. You have no idea it's coming, but I'm
Okay.
just trying to make sure that we've talked about how important it is to not lose your way along the way and some of the things you're doing now that are different than what you would have done 2 or 3 years ago. But if we have some single listeners, and not if, because we know we have a lot, but for our
Right.
single listeners that are in brand new relationships or that are in relationship and they're really starting to fall in love how can you do both? Like, how can you be excited and fall in love and ride the relationship the way it needs to be? But what's the number one thing other than keeping priorities to yourself that you would advice you would give?
Um,
Get a good therapist.
I would say get a good therapist. No, and I have one if you need one. I would say something that I'm trying to do or I have done is really decide what I wanted and write it down or make a mental note of it, whatever, and really focus on it. Don't let anything lead you astray. And that's what I guess I would tell anybody who's, because you know everybody knows when you're falling in love, you're in the honeymoon phase, you want to do everything that they say and you want to like everything that they like and you want to and if you want that to last, I would suggest being true to yourself and communicating that to the person. You know, tell them, say, hey, this is what I want, this is what I'm looking for, and if they're the right person for you, then they're going to be excited to join that. and they're going to be excited that you have those boundaries, because boundaries are important for both parties. Totally 100% right for both parties. Just because you set a boundary doesn't mean that the other person isn't going to benefit from it.
Right. That's really good advice and so very true how people need boundaries and how easy it is in a new relationship to try to like everything the other person likes
Yep.
or try to, and that only leads to problems because eventually
They
I'm going
start
to have
getting
to tell you, I hate
resentful.
sports.
Yep.
I'm going to be sitting up here watching Real Housewives while you're down there watching sports. So two
Yep.
TVs is probably good too,
Yeah.
but
Right. But you don't want to start resenting the people, like it could
exactly.
start off great. Like you said, sports is a good thing, when you're, someone, all they do is watch sports, and you're like, oh yeah, that's fine at first, but then you think, you know what, that's not really what I want to do. Then it starts to become a problem. So be vocal, put your likes out there and your dislikes out there. You know, I don't ever want to lose myself again. And here's the thing, I've been so much happier since I found myself again, that it's showing in my relationships too. Even my family, my friends, the person I'm seeing. Um, I have way more patience with people. I have vocalized what I will and will not accept. So they're helping me. Okay, well, she's not going to like this, and she's not going to like that. So I'm gonna respect her boundaries, and I'm not going to do those things. So, and I've had several compliments from my work colleagues, from my family, from my friends, my neighbors. They have seen a more positive change in me, a happier. I don't get as depressed as easily. I can't remember the last time I had a depressive episode. I'm just happier. I laugh more. Um, I'm really happy where I am with the house and my living situation and my travels, and it's just overall I couldn't I can't remember the last time I was this happy and at peace with who I am.
I love that. And that, gosh, I mean, it's all around great advice. Like, you have your non-negotiables, you set your
Yeah,
boundaries, but you also have your own goals and your own things that you want to achieve, and you just don't change those no matter what. So, um, I love all of this. I love where it's going.
the thing that people have to remember is, if you have goals and you have boundaries, and the person you are with, whether it's family or a love interest or romantic interest or whatever, if they love you and they want you to be supported, if they want you to be successful, then they're going to take your to-do list and your actions and your boundaries, and they're going to support that, and they're going to help you build on that. I know what my next goal is, and I've shared that with my friends and family. So now my friends and family are very excited to help me reach that goal.
Right.
So now it's just makes it all the better. So it really does make a difference when you put yourself first. And it doesn't mean being selfish. It doesn't mean not helping other people. It doesn't mean not respecting other people's boundaries. It's a give and take, but put yourself first, and then everybody around you will be second, and they will be much better off for it.
Yeah, because it's much better to be second than think you're number one, and then all of a sudden you're kicked to the bottom of the pile because
Right,
you didn't know what boundaries you were
right.
crossing because somebody was just being too easy to get along with. So,
Yep,
fantastic
yep,
advice. So, yeah, that gave me a little chills, especially with the friends and family starting to support the goals because everybody knows what the
yep,
goals are, and then
yep.
everybody's getting excited for you. And really, that's what we all look for in a relationship, right? Like, it's someone that makes us the best version of ourselves.
Right. Yep.
And it's what we look for in all relationships, right? It's our friendship. I mean, Lord knows where either one of us would be without each other.
Right,
So it's
absolutely.
friendships, it's
Yep.
dating relationships, it's family, it's all that.
Work,
It,
colleagues.
yes, how we make each other better is what it's
Yep,
all about.
absolutely.
All right, well, I have a game.
Uh-oh.
Before we wrap it up for the day, I have a
Okay.
fun little game.
Okay.
Now, I'm calling this game Off the Top. Don't take
Okay.
your shirt off. It's not off the
Okay.
top like that. It's just
Okay.
called
No
Off the
taking the
Top.
top off.
So I've got a few questions here. Some are kind of the would you rather questions. Others are just straightforward
Okay.
questions. So I don't want you to take seconds and think about it. I just
Okay.
want you to blurt out
Off the
what
top of my head.
the
All right.
top of your head. Now, I'm wondering, based off one of our past conversations, if it's going to change your answer to number one, just based off what we've talked about tonight.
Okay.
So, all right, number one question. What is
Yeah.
your favorite junk food?
Mounds bars. Well, unless candy bar or whatever. My favorite junk food is potato chips and French onion dip.
I didn't know that. See, I wondered
Yep.
if you all of a sudden you were going to say tacos because we've been talking about
No,
tacos, but
but I
that's
do love
probably not really
tacos.
it's not
That's
really
not junk
junk
food.
food. That's
Yeah,
good food.
it's good food.
All right. So, would you rather wear the same socks for a month, 1 month in these socks,
Okay.
or the same underwear for a week?
I can't think about it. I would rather wear. Do you get to take them off, or can you like go to sleep without them? Like, because I love
I'm gonna
being
say
bare.
you. I'm gonna say you can't take them off.
You can't take them off at all.
Okay, you could
Like
you
just
can
at
take them
night.
off while you're sleeping. That's it.
Okay. I would still say same socks. This is tough. Same socks for a month. Although I love being barefoot, and sometimes I go commando. So I don't know.
I'm going same socks.
Yeah, I'll
I've
go with
thought
same
about that. I was
socks.
like,
I
I'm
just
probably
love
gonna
being
go.
barefoot.
We'll have to do the challenge. I mean, we'll have to do it in the winter, I
Okay.
guess.
All right, we'll
Okay.
try that.
All right. If you had one superpower, what would it be?
Being invisible.
That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yes. Why? What would you do?
Um, well, unfortunately, I've had the chance to think about it, but I've had this question asked me, and it is mind control. Always mind control. I might not be invisible. I might not can fly, but you think I can. I can make people think that I can do all these things. So it doesn't really matter if I'm up there flying in the sky or whatever.
Right. Well,
And I
see, if
don't
I'm
need to.
invisible,
You'll just want to give me money. Just because you're invisible, I can make you show yourself. No, I'm just kidding.
well,
I
I
wouldn't know
mean,
who to
right now
blame.
my dog thinks I can do any of those things. She doesn't know any better. But if you're invisible, then I don't know. It was off the top of my head.
Now
I
that's a
didn't
good
even know
one.
mind control was an option. That's so if I thought about it, maybe mind control, because then I could make you give me money. I could make the bank teller give me money. Or if I'm invisible, I could just walk in the bank and take the money.
True. I mean, there's a lot of good things about being invisible, but you know what scares me about being invisible?
No.
I don't either, because I just had this thought, but I was like, we're going to have to dive into this thought at some other time. But my first, oh my God, I must have problems. My first thought, if I'm invisible, I might overhear conversations that I shouldn't overhear and could hurt my feelings. Really? You're
Well,
invisible. You're
yeah.
you're like walking in, taking money and stuff, and I'm like, what if I hear somebody talking about me? That's a problem. That's on episode 993. We'll get to the
Okay.
bottom of that.
All right. We'll get to
All
the bottom
right.
of that.
We got one more question for you.
Okay.
Would you rather be 11 feet tall or 9 inches tall?
I don't know. 9 inches, I think.
Do do do.
I think
Nine
9 inches.
inches?
Yeah.
Hey, you'd be so cute at nine
I know.
inches.
That's what I'm thinking. Chipmunks.
Yeah, and again, I was thinking 11 feet tall because I'm just afraid to be 9 inches, people would just be stepping on me and not even realize I was there.
Yeah, well, 3 years
Maybe
ago,
I have
people
a real
were
feel
stepping
of this
on me and
fear of
not
this
even knowing I was there.
fear of
Um,
being invisible or being little and stepped on and not seen.
Yeah, I don't know. 11, I don't know. I just think 11 feet tall, the plane rides would be uncomfortable.
Oh
The
yeah,
cars,
even if you
you would
had
get
a,
your doors are an average of 8 feet high.
yeah, you're gonna have to bend down and come through the doors.
Yeah,
And in the plane, even with an aisle seat, those legs are gonna have to extend on up.
yeah. So yeah, I would say 9 inches because then I could just go in people's pockets and go wherever I want.
That's true.
I could sit on your shoulder.
Yeah, and then we would only need one camera.
That's right.
And I hope I don't sneeze because you might fall off. We have to pick you up.
These are the things that are going to keep us up tonight.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I've got it figured out. When you're 9 inches tall, what we're
Yep,
gonna do is I'll hold you like this,
that's right.
and then you could sit and swing your legs.
Excuse me.
What are you looking for?
I was looking to see what 9 inches was, but I didn't.
Have you got a
That
ruler
that
back there
doesn't
at your
really.
bar where you've been
I mean,
measuring things? I
I
mean,
mean,
these
think of well,
photos.
like a piece of paper is like 8.5 by 11, so that means you would be, yeah, that's how big I would be. Turn it. That's 11 inches. You go the other way. Yes, that's how big I would be.
Okay, and then if you were sitting in the palm of my hand, you could bend your legs like that.
Yes, exactly.
Swing.
Yeah. Yes,
Okay. Well, that's all we got for you today, folks, but we promise we'll be back next week.
yes,
No more
we
long
will.
breaks. We're done with that. We found
Yep,
ourselves, we found our title. We're
yep,
good, and we are ready to move forward.
yep. And same as last time. No, we're gonna just be out here talking about everyday things, and see if we can't help at least one person.
Yep. That's what it's all about.
So reach out to us. We have a lot more to talk about. We've already gone through several topics that we were going to talk about. So I'm sure at some point we're still going to go with. I'm not going to know what we talk about on any podcast. You will bring the topic up, and then we'll just talk like we normally talk.
But we can't cuss for the first 10 seconds.
Correct.
That'll be different than we normally.
Yes,
No,
that would be
just
bad.
kidding. Just kidding. All right. Well, thanks for joining us
Thank
and
you.
have a
Hope to
good
see you
week.
again.
All
All right.
righty.
Bye.
Bye.